So the next one, and there are two more, is price and privilege. So this is a world where there has been a contraction of the industry because of a very high oil price. So essentially what's happened in this scenario is that we've come slowly out of the recession, but that Asian economies have come out much faster, leading to a high demand in oil price, which then leads to oil price spikes, so very difficult to manage, and sometimes spiking at the kind of $300 a barrel mark, but coming down, up and down. So basically that's made cheap mass air travel a thing of the past, which means people are starting to do things differently. So either they go as far as they can for the money that they have, so they're looking for cheap mass transit options, and clearly with France being a gateway to the rest of Europe and beyond, that's going to be really important for you. And then, or they're looking for saving up for those big, long holidays, once-in-a-lifetime honeymoon-type experiences. For the industry, the margins are lower because cost is so critical. But there are this wealthy elite, so unfortunately the rich do okay in any scenario. Not unfortunately, but it's true. Similar to lawyers, really, and accountants, generally are all right in most scenarios. And so there's this general drive for efficiency.
Once upon a time, when the oil price was relatively cheap, distance was counted in minutes, not in miles. Airports overflowed with travellers from all around the world. Oil offered many of us joys beyond our wildest dreams. The world's clock beat to the rhythm of those indefatigable machines tapping into the earth. And this was the end of cheap oil. Fleet replacements simply could not keep pace. Now, only the rich can afford to fly. Others must save for years to fly overseas. Or they join the new mass market of cheaper overland travel. People talk nostalgically about the days when crisscrossing the world was the norm. Now, to experience a long-haul holiday by plane, families must compete against each other to prove they are the most deserving. There has, though, been a great deal of investment in low-carbon overland travel, so connections are stress-free. And the journeys are, in the main, smooth, affordable, and enjoyable.
So you can see what the implications are for France with that. Basically, it's about preparing for the post-oil economy. We're unlikely to have got there in 15 years' time, but oil could be much more expensive than it is today. And so the sorts of destinations that are growing are the places that people can get to overland or oversea in a relatively efficient way. So less constrained than the last world. People want to travel and they're desperate to do that. They just find it difficult to afford to go as far. So again, France is a growing destination within this scenario. So the critical things for the French market for this are going to be having accessible, integrated overland, oversea transport that is super efficient, so not oil critical. So efficiency first is going to be a big message. Low carbon efficient destinations and resorts are going to be important for cost reasons predominantly. And then there's this balance between keeping tourism affordable, so affordable France, Paris on a shoestring being quite apparent in this world, but also maintaining that appeal to the elite. So obviously they are the people with money who will still want to visit the exclusive places. So actually balancing that and managing the overcrowding that may cause, where if everybody wants to go on holiday but can only get as far as France, that could have serious implications. So, price and privilege, again, France is successful but has some challenges as well. So, carbon clampdown, demand for overseas travel down, and this is because people have taken seriously the whole issue of things like climate change and resource shortages and have started to change their behaviour accordingly. And so we also have an ambitious new carbon regime from government. Public support for this is high. This is where people have individual carbon budgets, and so they have to manage carbon in the same way that they manage money. So they will have however many tonnes a year. It's likely to be around 2 or 3. We currently use about 9. And they will be monitoring that, budgeting that carefully. And there hasn't been the technological development in this world that there has in the first world to actually deal with that. So that's a problem. At the same time, the economic recovery has been slower, but that has been replaced by a new sense of localism, people wanting to actually engage with their local communities. So people travel abroad less, but when they do travel, they tend to go for longer because it's a good way of managing their carbon budgets, and they also look for more experiential and ethical holidays because there's ways that you can get carbon credits if you do good things.
We must act now. Future generations will not have these choices to make.
Quid's in. A couple of days volunteering and a massive rebate on our carbon allowance. It's the only way we can afford to do it.
Oh, we had a great holiday. The kids loved it and we saved so much.
Welcome to Northumbria Springs, where all your travel needs can be met in one resort.
A bold new scheme to tackle carbon emissions by issuing personal allowances.
Like many airlines, we've seen a massive drop in profits.
I love going to the beach and building sandcastles. My favourite beach is in Cornwall.
The dial represents the exertion of carbon by the individual. Once the dial reaches 0, you have used up all your individual carbon allowance.
We just can't ignore this issue anymore. I'm not saying it's too late, but I need to get involved.
We do travel abroad sometimes, but only when we know the places we're going will benefit from us being there.
The strength of the pound overseas continues to fall and hits an all-time low against the US dollar.
I want to see the world after I graduate, but I'm going to do it by joining the Peace Corps.
What?
Oh, no, I don't travel. Not like I could afford to anyway. Do you know what I get for my pension? 20 years I gave that company.
At our company, we offer longer holidays. Leisure time is important to us. People come back ready to work and they work harder because they are happier.
I met Isabel online through peer-to-peer travel networks. I've always wanted to go to France, and she said she always wanted to come to Bristol, so we just swapped lives for 3 months.
We just love to go camping and getting out in the British countryside.
The Red Cross Initiative Swarm, a social network of volunteers, was the first to arrive on the scene, faster than any official agency staff. Oh, we learned so much about conflict resolution in Bhutan, didn't we, Derek?
It saved our marriage and brought us closer together.
We're off to Bognor this summer, just like all the celebs. Oh, it's going to be so cool.
The leadership shown by the UK's tourism industry is a wake-up call for all of us.